First, let me thank you for this opportunity. Well, the reason we're here today, having these meetings at the UN with different agencies and also representatives of different countries, is to plead for two things: justice for the people of Nagorno Karabakh and durable and lasting peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The key word here I want to emphasize is durable peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan. These two goals are inextricably interconnected. Let me start with justice and say a few things about the people of Nagorno Karabakh and the territory they inhabit. The right of Nagorno Karabakh people to live in peace and dignity in their historic homeland is compelling, given the exculpatory conditions surrounding Nagorno Karabakh case. Nagorno Karabakh has never ever been part of independent Azerbaijan and has maintained a coherent identity as a people with an attachment to the land of Nagorno Karabakh for centuries. During the period of 1918-1920 of the past century, during the republics of Armenia and Azerbaijan, it was a disputed territory. During the Soviet times, Nagorno Karabakh held the status of Nagorno Karabakh autonomous region and maintained an effective democratic and legitimate government over the territory for the 30 years since the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Well, during these 30 years, there were peace negotiations between Armenians and Azerbaijanis under the auspices of the OSCE Minsk Group co-chairmanship, the US, France, and Russia, and sought a peaceful settlement to the conflict. Notably, these negotiations were grounded in the principle of non-use of force, territorial integrity of states, and self-determination of peoples. Look, I've been at the forefront, as was mentioned, of these talks from the early 90s to the end of my tenure as foreign minister in 2008. I know every nook and cranny of the negotiations. The OSCE Minsk Group set forth the basic elements for a just and fair settlement of the conflict. One, return of territory surrounding Nagorno-Karabakh to Azerbaijani control. An interim status for Nagorno-Karabakh, providing guarantees for security and self-governance. A corridor linking Armenia to Nagorno-Karabakh. Future determination of the final legal status of Nagorno-Karabakh through a legally binding expression of will. The right of all internally displaced persons and refugees to return to their former places of residence. And finally, international security guarantees that will include a peacekeeping operation. But unfortunately, on September 27, 2020, while these principles still held, Azerbaijan launched a surprise military attack, thereby violating the fundamental principle of non-use of force. In the course of 2023, Nagorno-Karabakh was subjected to civil blockade, violence, destruction of humanitarian aid, and military aggression by Azerbaijan, this time in violation of November 9, 2020 ceasefire agreement. On September 19, 2023, after enduring nearly 10 months of a blockade that caused mass starvation, deprivation, illness, and death, and now faced with imminent destruction, the entire Armenian population fled the homeland amidst patent threats of ethnic cleansing and genocide. In fact, in a report released in August 2023, Luis Moreno Ocampo, the founding prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, accused Azerbaijan of committing genocide by intentionally subjecting the group to conditions aimed at its physical destruction. Only recently, the Freedom House put out a report on the issue. The gathered evidence, they said, demonstrates that the Azerbaijani state acted upon a comprehensive, methodically implemented a strategy to empty Nagorno-Karabakh of its ethnic Armenian population and historical and cultural presence. Well, today Azerbaijan stands defiant, denying the people of Nagorno-Karabakh their fundamental rights. Azerbaijan illegally holds Armenian prisoners of war, while all Azerbaijani prisoners of war have been returned. It holds innocent civilians and most notoriously a large group of current and former political leaders of Nagorno-Karabakh, with whom the Azeri leadership and the representative of the international community, principal the Minsk Group co-chairs, have been engaged for decades in peace talks. Azerbaijan persistently and with impunity expropriates Nagorno-Karabakh people's properties, desecrates, destroys, and eliminates centuries-old Armenian cultural heritage. And on top of all this, Azerbaijan occupies chunks of territories of the Republic of Armenia and threatens further territorial grabs from Armenia. While the current situation in Nagorno-Karabakh truly does not favor a safe return, international law protects the right of return of forcibly displaced people to the territory of origin. This right is recognized as a customary norm of international law, human rights law, and international humanitarian law. Actually, there's the International Court of Justice ruling on November 17 of last year required Azerbaijan to facilitate the safe and unhindered return of Nagorno-Karabakh Armenians to their country. On March 12th of this year, the European Parliament passed a resolution urging Azerbaijan to engage in meaningful dialogue with Karabakh Armenians to ensure their rights and security, including the right of return to their homes under international protection. So far, Azerbaijan has not taken any meaningful steps to fulfill those orders. I will urge the UN, maybe in the person of Madam Ashwini, the Special Rapporteur on contemporary forms of religious discrimination, to undertake a fact-finding visit to the displaced people of Nagorno-Karabakh and submit a report on ethnic cleansing of Nagorno-Karabakh to the Human Rights Council. Now, to finish, let me just circle back to where I started and talk about just and durable peace. Despite the challenges, let me say that the people of Nagorno-Karabakh remain resolute in their determination to return to their homeland, determine their political future, and exercise their own democratic self-governance. Thus, repatriation under international protection, such as a transitional UN administration and peacekeeping, is crucial for achieving just and lasting peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan. A fragile notion of stability achieved through coercion and force is inherently impermanent. Lasting peace can only be realized through a comprehensive resolution that restores the fundamental rights of the people of Nagorno-Karabakh. This principle must be enshrined in any peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan, as sustainable peace remains elusive when the people of Nagorno-Karabakh remain forcibly displaced from their ancestral land. If we truly would like to achieve a just and durable peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan and the region, two things need to happen. One, Armenia must overcome its fear of war when it defends its legitimate rights and also defends the legitimate rights of the people of Nagorno-Karabakh. And more importantly, Azerbaijan must snap out of its euphoric sentiment still dominant since the end of the 44-day war and stop viewing and treating the peace talks with Armenia as a continuation of a capitulation process. Ladies and gentlemen, negotiations and how the experience work when both sides enter into them in good faith and the right mindset, even if there is a lack of trust. Today, both sides, but mostly Azerbaijan as well as many in the international community, seem to think that a military loss, and Armenians did indeed suffer a military loss, equals conceding all international norms, human, civil, and political rights, and submitting to any sort of rule proposed by the other side. This is not a workable formula for peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and clearly not a good precedent for the other ongoing peaceful resolutions and conflicts around the globe. Thank you.